This man is feasting on a human hand. There's a fresh human head cooking in the pot. This is a dehumanizing social experiment. The purpose is to test what a man will do if he doesn't sleep for 10 days and 10 nights. Will he become a cannibalistic monster, or will he die a sudden death? Mila had just bought a small fish. She put it in the tank and watched it. In the next moment, she was suddenly put in a plastic bag from behind. She fainted because she couldn't breathe. When she woke up, she found herself in an empty room. There were cameras all around her. She screamed for help, but the only thing that echoed in the large room was loneliness and fear. What's worse, her every move was recorded by the cameras. It streamed live on the internet. People wondered what she would do next, but no one cared that the girl's life was in danger. She pleads for help on camera, and that got the viewers even more excited. They all started to look forward to the end of the girl's life. Suddenly a voice came over the radio. Welcome her to the 10 days 10 nights game. Here, if she doesn't sleep for 10 days, she'll be allowed to go home. During this period she can't rest, but she must never sleep, and every day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. she has to complete strange tasks. Mila was terrified, but couldn't do anything about it. She crouched in the corner and thought about how to get out. Then a voice came over the radio. It was a baby's voice. The baby called out to her mother, saying it was her unborn child. He asked her why she had abandoned her. That hit Mila where it hurts. She was pregnant with a child, but she was mercilessly aborted. It seems this organization knows everything about Mila. She covered her ears, but the boy's next words gave her hope. The radio said that if she found him, she could get out. She rushed up to look for him and found a bucket in the corner. The audience is wondering what's in the bucket. Mila carefully opened the lid. One look and she hid in the corner. The baby's voice starts again. If she can't find him, she can't get out. In order to stay alive, she had to go to the bucket again. It turned out to be a pile of bloody raw meat. She reached into the flesh and kept searching. Finally, she found a doll inside. At that moment, the door of the room was opened. A man wearing a hood and holding an electric baton entered the room. Everyone in the room is looking forward to what's about to happen. The girl is dragged by her hair to a piece of luggage. The man directs her to sit on a chair. The sound of the baton crackling and snapping was terrifying. The terrified girl obeyed. After sitting on the chair, she was electrocuted by the man in black. When she woke up, she found herself fixed to the chair. The black-clothed man fixed a pair of VR glasses on her head. The images were gory and horrifying, and the sounds were shrill and piercing. She spends the night in extreme fear and torture, and the glasses will stay with the girl for 10 nights. The administrator of the live broadcast room sent out a pop-up screen. The first day of the experiment was successfully completed. What kind of organization would make such a sick experiment? And what was the purpose of the experiment? Early the next morning, Mila was violently pushed into a steel room. She was asked a question on the radio. If 5 people had damaged organs, would she kill her father and donate his organs to them? That's a sick question. Mila refused to answer. A shrill sound pierced through her eardrums from the radio. Then the men in black entered the metal room. Cold hot water washed over her. Mila is freezing and sweating. The high-pressure water jet continues to wash over her body. Mila was forced to give her verbal consent. Only then did the men in black stop. On the morning of the 3rd day, Mila's VR glasses were removed from her body in a state of shock, and the men in black brought in another woman. The other woman was gagged and wearing a headgear. She couldn't make a sound. This time, we're going to play a game of snatch and grab. As the name suggests, whoever fails to answer the question will be killed. If neither of them answers, both of them will be killed, and the other guy is gagged, so he can't make a sound. Apparently, it was a test of her goodness. At first, Mila was reluctant to answer, but after being pressed, Mila answered the questions. The man in black took out his pistol and shot him in the head. Mila was horrified and blamed herself for the loss of her life. This is not only a physical torture, but also a mental one. The man in black dragged the body out. Then they started cleaning up the blood. Some people on the air are beginning to suspect that this isn't like him, but no one said anything. Instead, they were more excited about what was going to happen next. The man in black continues to put the VR glasses on her. The night began again. By the morning of the 4th day, Mila had been tortured to the point of no return. Her consciousness began to blur because she had eaten for 4 days. Mila couldn't even stand up normally. She could only rest in the corner with her weak body. The man in black opened the door. This time there was no new trick, but a box was pushed in. It's filled with a hearty breakfast. On top of the box was a set of keys. The radio alerts her that she has 1 minute to unlock the door. As the countdown starts, Mila picks up the keys and tries them one by one. Finally, after 5 attempts, she opens the box. Without a second thought, she grabbed her food and started to devour it. When she was almost full, the announcement came again. The key can't actually open the door. Mila slapped her head in regret. She had such a good chance to escape, but she chose to eat instead. Just when the men in black were about to tie her to the stool again, Mila, who had eaten enough and had strength, started to fight back. She gave the man in black a fatal blow, picked up the key and rushed towards the door. Trying one key at a time, she finally managed to unlock the door. Freedom was within her reach, but in the end, The man in black grabbed her. Another round of electric batons. Mila was again shocked into unconsciousness. By the 5th day, Mila couldn't even get up. During these days, she tried to close her eyes and rest countless times, but each time, she was awakened by a sharp sound that pierced her eardrums, and if she stayed asleep, she would still be shocked. Soon, a new round of torture began. The man in black brought in a wooden box and put the weak Mila in it. Then they sealed the lid with an electric drill. In the small, confined space, Mila's weak voice begs to be let out, but soon she would come to her senses, because the men in black have a pack of rats in the box that's been starving for days. They will tear and bite everything inside the box. Mila, who was already weak, let out a heartbreaking scream. In the live room, the administrator explained that this is called high behavioral arousal mode. When a person encounters danger in a highly stressful situation, it triggers the desire to survive. Mila's mental state is now at this critical point. Soon after, Mila's mouth was covered in blood, and the rats are dead. Mila was once again immobilized on the chair and put on the VR glasses. She repeated the long night of death. On the 6th day, Mila, who had been tortured to the point of collapse, suddenly heard a ticking sound. She heard a ticking sound. She searched for the sound. She found a cell phone in the doll's body. In a panic, Mila dialed the police, but she had been kidnapped and had no idea where she was. Even the police couldn't do anything. To add to her despair, her cell phone was dead and turned off. The most painful thing in the world is not to fall into despair. It's giving someone hope and then taking it away again. She's in a trance and can't tell dream from reality. She saw the alluring Mila and naked men. They were performing strange acts in front of her. And then she saw an old woman with a baby in her arms. She saw a man feasting on a human pawn and a human head cooking in a boiler. In reality, Mila was in a complete coma, but she kept her eyes open. Neither the bright lights nor the loud noises could wake her. People on the air are speculating whether Mila is alive or dead. What is the purpose of this experiment? That would make someone so cruel. But the worst was yet to come. The mystery men shaved the back of Mila's head. They altered her brain. As she slept, she was struck by horrific images. All kinds of horrible monsters appeared in front of her eyes. Tears of despair flowed from Mila's empty eyes. Finally, on the 10th day, the mysterious man poured a potion into a bottle of water and placed it in front of Mila. Thirsty and hungry, Mila started to drink the water without even thinking. The crowd in the live broadcast room is speculating about the result of the experiment. The mysterious man puts her on the stool again. Mila looks up. The monster from her dream was right in front of her. She grabbed a hammer and struck it furiously, but it was the husband who had been searching for her for the past 10 days. And Mila sees the open door. She stumbled out. She finally escaped from this hellhole. She found herself in an abandoned factory. Mila kept running, but eventually, she collapsed on the highway. A car was approaching, and two old ladies who look exactly like Mila get out. They drove Mila towards the city. Mila was dropped off at her front door. She came home in a daze, Saturday on the floor and cried, and the little goldfish she bought 10 days ago had starved to death. The first thing Mila did was take a shower. She wanted to wash away her painful past. She wanted to live her life to the fullest. But the nightmare didn't end there. The sound of a doorknob turning sounded, and nervous Mila grabbed a fruit knife and crouched in the corner. A monster walked into the house. She got up and stabbed the monster one by one, until the monster was a bloody mess. On the other side of the live broadcast room, the administrator announced that the experiment was successful. Congratulations, they have a new method. In the end, Mila was jailed for murder. It turned out that she killed her father on the surveillance camera. The police took out a photo to identify him, but she was terrified. They took her to a doctor. They found that she had severe brain damage and was face blind. Anyone close to her was seen as a monster. Instead of being put in prison, Mila was eventually institutionalized. It wasn't long before the president's wife was abducted into this chamber, the same nightmare that awaited her for 10 days and nights. It turns out the purpose of the experiment was to assassinate the president. Mila was just a test subject. It was only after the experiment was successful that they begin to work on the real target. And that's the end of the movie. The movie feels like the powerlessness of the weak and powerless in the face of a mysterious, powerful and violent organization. Compared to the ghosts, the zombies, and the monsters, this kind of movie is heartbreaking as it is a scourge of mankind from the beginning to the end. It's probably hard for an ordinary person who encounters this kind of thing to escape. If an ordinary person is targeted by this kind of organization, the other side has all kinds of expertise. They've been watching someone for a long time, and they've gotten to know all kinds of details about his or her relationships, place of residence, personality, privacy, and personal abilities, and they have tailored a whole set of highly technical torture methods to destroy their psychological defenses, twist people into what they want. And as an ordinary person, we do not have superpowers, no protagonist halo, no golden finger. Before we realize it, we have already fallen into the control of the other side.